So Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 2 is upon us, so now Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 2 I will talk about here. And once again, this episode is brought to you by Stardust. The Stardust app, of course, is a social media app that lets you react to movies, trailers, TV shows. You get to be the reviewer and get your opinions out there for 30 seconds at a time on Stardust. I'll put a link below to the Stardust app. Follow me at Jeremy Jahns, and also tag me at that same handle on the Stardust app in your Game of Thrones episode reactions going forward, and that'll enter you for a chance to win a trip for you and a friend to go to Los Angeles for the Game of Thrones series finale party that the folks at Stardust are putting on, and I'll be at that party too. I'll talk a little more about that at the end of the episode. But for now, let's talk about Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 2, and of course, there are spoilers in here. If you haven't seen it yet, but you might not want to watch this. If you don't care, hey, watch this. But really, my big takeaway from all of this is Tyrion Lannister, once again, he stuck the landing. He gave me another phrase that I want on a tombstone. I feel like my tombstone is going to be filled up with Tyrion Lannister phrases. But his phrase in here, to the perils of self-betterment, because it also shows what Game of Thrones is really about. It really is about self-betterment and characters overcoming their flaws. And we see that with Jaime Lannister. Jaime Lannister, is so easy to remember that Jaime Lannister pushed Bran Stark out of the window of the tower and he fell and snapped his spine. But as he was standing there among the court of Daenerys, I was like, oh yeah, he stabbed her dad in the back. That's why he's the Kingslayer. He stabbed the Mad King, her father, and she knows that. Yeah, Bran doesn't care about the tower thing, figured he wouldn't, but Daenerys, she's holding a grudge. She's a Targaryen after all. They're known for grudges and fire and dragons and conquering. But she rolls with it. She rolls with it because really a lot of people in that room had his back. They're all like, nah, Daenerys, he's totally cool. He helped me there. He helped them there. And your dad was a dick. He had a pretty great reason for stabbing your dad in the back. Your dad was gonna burn people. Like, burn him alive. Fuck him. But she rolls with Jaime Lannister, just like we roll with Jaime Lannister. Like, we saw him push Bran out the window. We saw him when he was a dick. But we've also seen him become better, and now we're totally cool with it. We're like on his side, like, dude, Daenerys, come on. Let's cut him a break. He's awesome now. It's like 8 years ago, Jaime Lannister pushed a kid out of a window. But yeah, we forgive him. He's cool now. 7 years ago, Theon Greyjoy sacks Winterfell, conquers it. People die. Yeah, but we forgive him now. You can go ahead and guard Bran Stark. It's cool. Which directly conflicts with our world. Like, our world is like, you made a fucked up joke on Twitter 8 years ago. Oh, fuck you and the career you rode in on, man. We're burning you to the ground. So Westeros may seem unforgiving, but in terms of ruthlessness, it's like Westeros Twitter. But Daenerys and Sansa have this dialogue with each other about like manipulation, and she's like, well, who manipulated who? Because I love Jon Snow. It's like, everyone manipulates everyone. Come on. That's right, Daenerys. You're manipulating her right now because you need to, because you want the throne. She's throne hungry, man. She's like throne drunk. That's my point there. Everyone in Game of Thrones who wants a position of power or is in a position of power, they're all manipulative to everybody, to everyone where it serves them. Don't act all innocent, Daenerys. Arya and Gendry, it happened. I was like, oh, Arya's, well, she's over 18, fuck it. Enjoy the tasteful side boob. I just didn't expect it. Maybe it's because I've known Arya since she was little. I mean, I've seen Arya kill people. Slice throats, but sex, ooh. Shows how ass backwards we are as a society, though. Gendria, I ship it. For one night only, because she doesn't seem like the type who gets tied down with commitment. I'm glad Lady Brienne got knighted. She's been like one of the best characters since her introduction. She's in fact so awesome that in Star Wars they were like, hey, she's gonna be Phasma and you never see her face. It's like they cast Gwendolyn Christie and never used Gwendolyn Christie. It's kind of weird, but Game of Thrones uses Gwendolyn Christie. She beat up the Hound and now she's knighted and now it's all good. And Jaime Lannister just wants to serve under her. Actually, that's a good moment. The guy who wants to serve under her had the ability to knight her, and he did. Because she was instrumental in Jaime Lannister's redemption, redeeming himself. Because he did things that are not nearly as offensive as cracking bad jokes on Twitter. I've always liked the dynamic between Brienne and Jaime Lannister. They have been my favorite anyway, so I'm glad the pair is still here. The duo is alive. Shit, I hope I didn't jinx it. Hope one of them doesn't die next week. And now Daenerys knows about Jon Snow's lineage. She knows. She knows that he is a relative, a blood relative, and the male heir to the Iron Throne, I guess. She took it about as well as I figured she would, which is pretty much like, wait a minute, 'Cause she is throne drunk. She loves that throne. She wants it more than anything. Let's not kid anybody. She's not here for Jon Snow. She's in the north to take out the zombies, so when she takes the throne, she doesn't have that kind of opposition. I'm telling you, in the Game of Thrones, there are no friends, just temporary alliances. I'm not talking about the friends. I know Jon Snow and Sam Tarly are actually friends, just Sam Tarly doesn't want the throne, though. But when you have one or more people who is going for the throne, nah, their friends are not necessarily friends. Now, interestingly enough, in this episode, there's a lot of talking. I mean, I like the character building. I like seeing where the characters are, their headspace. You get a couple of good moments with Tyrion, with the Hound, with Arya, with the Hound and the guy who was fucking brought back to life from the Lord of Light. But I feel like the first episode, last week's episode, was a lot of people talking in Winterfell. This episode was a lot of people talking in Winterfell. Well, that's 2 of your 6 episodes. Next week, I believe, is going to be the battle. Unless it goes to King's Landing, and then the week after that is when we go back to Winterfell, and then we see the fight. I just hope they don't spend too much time building up to what needs to happen, because now we have 4 more episodes, and we have to have a fight with the White Walkers and the mythical zombies of the North, and then probably fight Cersei, unless, I don't know, Arya Stark sneaks in there and then stabs her in the neck, which I guess she could just do that. And then the wrap up, or is one episode gonna be devoted to them traveling? Is it just gonna keep on the people in the North? Are we gonna see what's happening in King's Landing? I feel like there's more that needs to happen than there are episodes that can show it. I just don't want the show to feel rushed. This is the final season of a show that a lot of us have, man, we've been there for it. I haven't felt like I wanted a show to stick the landing this much since Breaking Bad, and Breaking Bad did it. I don't want this one to fall short and be like, oh, the wrap-up was okay. But we'll see what happens, and that's my takeaway. So like I said before, this is brought to you by Stardust. Click the link below, download the Stardust app. Follow me at Jeremy Jahns on the Stardust app. On Sunday, after you watch new Game of Thrones episodes, react to those Game of Thrones episodes, and tag me at Jeremy Jahns in those reactions. And not only will that give you a chance to be featured here in my Game of Thrones episodes that I'm doing here on YouTube, that'll also enter you for a chance to win a trip for you and a guest to go to Los Angeles for the Game of Thrones series finale party that the folks at Stardust are putting on. Yeah, I'll be at that party. I'll be watching the Game of Thrones series finale at that party. It'll be a fucking party. Be watching it, laughing, crying, talking shit. So do that, because it'll be fun. Speaking of Stardust reactions that'll be featured here are some Stardust reactions for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2.
I still adore it very much because think about it. This is going to be the last peaceful moment we have with these characters. Next week, the shit is going to hit the fan. All hell is going to break loose. Even when Jon tells her, like, yo, I'm Aegon Targaryen, I'm your nephew. We've been banging. Nope, I still care about the throne. Like, what the fuck?
And I especially love Jaime in this episode because he's just kind to everybody and he's honest to everybody.
Bran's little comment about them maybe not even making it isn't very reassuring, but we did get a lot of good stuff. Arya and Gendry. Yes.
I like this episode a lot. I think this was a really good episode. We got a lot of emotional things between people like Jaime and Brienne.
And I love Theon's line, like, I try to take the castle from you, now I'm going to defend you.
The question I have is, who makes this out alive?
Everyone's going to die in the next episode, and no one will be safe. Not even Jon and Dany, for the night has come.
Holy shit, last guy. Shit got real. I don't know. Maybe this is a dark mindset. It's fucking Westeros. Who knows? Those are just snippets of reactions, but you know, I use what I can. I want to use more people. But thank you for everyone who reacted to Game of Thrones. Thank you for tagging me in it. All right, so now you know my thoughts. You know their thoughts. So Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.